Now let's talk about a couple other random devices here that you should be familiar with. First of all, we have our barcode readers, right? You know what barcode looks like, right? You can see it in the different forms of scanners. Matter of fact, these days, I mean, barcode readers are everywhere. You have a barcode reader. The camera on your phone is a barcode reader, right? Through an app. If you have a smartphone, you can just take the camera from your phone, focus in on the barcode, and the app then will read it, and it can do various things. So you have, scanners in all different shapes and sizes to read these barcodes. You've got cameras, right? So you have like webcams. That's what we have a picture of here. And they can either be integrated, or the one pictured here would be an example of a USB. Where do we see them integrated? You see them integrated on your laptops, and you see them integrated, even built right into certain monitors that you might buy for your computer. Other types of cameras that we have our digital cameras, whether it be a digital still camera or a digital video camera. And very often, by the way, these digital cameras, they're not just good for taking digital pictures or digital video that you then can transfer over to your computer. You can actually hook many digital cameras and video cameras up to your computer to be used like a webcam. And very often, if you open up the little hidden doors on these cameras, see how we have the IEEE 1394? There's a perfect example right there of the 4-pin alpha right there. And then right below it, that little symbol that you see, that's the USB symbol. Okay? And looks to me from this picture, and sometimes it's hard to tell in a picture because it could be distorted, and it also depends on proportional size. That to me looks like a mini USB-B. I think that's what that one looks like to me. How about biometric sensors? What you're looking at there is an example of one that is built right into a laptop. That's one of the most common places you'll see it. It's this tiny little sensor. You rub your finger over it, and it reads your fingerprint. So again, can be integrated, or it could be an external device. And then something that is quickly becoming huge. Okay, again, if I was teaching this to you 10 years ago, we'd talk about touchscreens. We'd talk about a couple of different technologies of touchscreens that they were, still in the early stages of dabbling around with. Whereas in today's world, everything's going touch. I mean, we've got operating systems that are now based off of touch, whether it be for tablets, right? We see like the iOS and the Android on our tablets and on our phones. And then you have Windows Mobile, which now, as of the time that I'm recording this for you, we now have Windows 8, which is an operating system that is, works wonderful with touch, even for just your actual desktop PC. Okay, so you need to keep in mind that touch screens are considered by some to be where we're heading. Whereas in this lesson, I've talked to you about how keyboards and mice, how they use serial or PS2 connectors or AT connectors, things like that. Well, some feel that 10 years from now, I could be having this conversation with you, and I would say, here's a history lesson for you. We used to use this thing called a keyboard and a mouse, and we don't anymore. Now everything's just done on the touch screen. Okay, so you want to keep in mind that this is also something that is going to become more and more prominent in today's computers. And that does bring us to the end of this lesson. And I know that this lesson may have seemed almost more like a history lesson than a current lesson, but I mean, here's the deal, and here's what's current. It doesn't matter if it's the old way or the new way. There has to be a way for you, the human, to be able to interact with the computer. And so we need some form of connection devices, or we even could sometimes, we used to refer to them as input-output devices. So we need to be able to have these things to be able to go ahead and, as a human, communicate with the computer and have the computer have the ability to spit stuff out, whether it be on a monitor, and I know we didn't talk about monitors, that's a whole separate lesson, video itself, or printers, if you want to put something on paper, or in the case of, even at the very end, we talked about touch screens. Right? Being able to just see everything, touch everything, move everything. It's all about the human interacting with the computer. And that's what we talked about in this lesson. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.